With quality brand name products at affordable wholesale prices, Cash and Carry is the perfect place to shop. Whether shopping for individual, business, churches, or more, Cash and Carry is sure to meet your needs. Cash and Carry of Cookeville, 931-528-8050.
A tough FCS foe is coming to Cookeville. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Watson Brown Show, presented by IWC Cash and Carry, alongside Tennessee Tech head coach Watson Brown. I'm your host, Buddy Pearson. Well, the Golden Eagles step out of conference play this week and host the Sycamores of Indiana State on Saturday night at Tucker Stadium. It will be the second tough home opponent for TTU after dropping a tough decision to Tennessee State this past week. Coach, two pretty tough home games back-to-back here, first TSU and now Indiana State.
It doesn't ease up from here on, buddy. Then we go to Murray, then we play UT Martin back here. So it's just we're into the meat of it now, and we've just got to play better and win the close games. And we shot ourselves in the foot Saturday with a chance to win. I think our offense, we just beat ourselves with our offense. 9 penalties. I think every one of them were on the offense. And 3 turnovers. You just have no chance. They big played our defense to get their points against that and give them credit for that. I thought they outplayed us. They played a better game than we did with a lot of good players. And as we talked earlier here before the show started, it's not a good dose with 3 turnovers and
9 penalties.
And 9 penalties. You're not going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, and it just seemed like it was Murphy's Law. Everything that could go wrong did at one point or another. It just seemed like every ball bounced away, didn't get a break. And just things went TSU's way.
Yeah, they did, but they made them. I give them credit. They made the ball bounce their way in so many different ways, I thought, buddy, in the game. And just a disappointing night. We can play a lot better than that. We must play a lot better than that, and I think we will this week.
Well, the Golden Eagles got off to a good start against the Tigers as we take a look at the first half highlights, brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast of Cookeville. Good crowd on hand at Tucker Stadium, and the Golden Eagles in their purple-clad uniforms. And, Coach, you came right out and marched right down the field and scored the first touchdown against TSU that they've given up in the first quarter this year.
It was a beautiful drive. I mean, well executed. I thought we were in for a great night. And from this point on, buddy, we got backed up. We spent the whole rest of the first quarter all the way till about 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. We couldn't get out of our own end zone. They kicked it down there and did some good things. This was very big by them. They turned around and took the ball right back down the field and scored and took the momentum back away from us. A big pass right here that we don't need to go for the ball. We need to make the tackle. I always tell our kids, if you're going to go for the ball, you better bat it down, because if you miss, now we're chasing a good receiver in open space. And you can see where we are. We're on the 1 yard line. They pull the ball loose here from Ladarius Van Leer, and this is 2 weeks in a row we've given 7 points to the defense with our offense turning the ball over inside the 5 yard line.
And it's kind of hard to have your defense come right back out and try and stop them when they've got on first and goal.
That's just a gift. We did a decent job here of making them work for it to get it in, but at the same time they got it in. Missed a tackle right there to keep them from maybe put them back on the 5 yard line. But they drove it back down on us. They held us down there deep another time, drove it back down, kicked the field goal. Now they're up 10-7 at this point. We drive back down. Got a turnover. Made 1 first down. They held us and blocked our field goal. You can see they pushed us just enough, and they had a big 6'6" guy in the middle, and he got his hands on it. So we're still sitting at 10-7 right now. Maybe it's 17-7 at this point. Got a nice interception right here. Again, couldn't do anything with it. I think that interception was when we kicked the field goal. That was a little bit out of succession. We had one more shot right before the half. We only got 2 after the first drive where we were out in the field.
Right.
We got the ball at about midfield, gained 12, called us for holding, and then we had 4 penalties in a row and ended up punting the ball back 30 yards from where we started. So it was not a great way to end the half.
Yeah, and after that opening drive against the number 1 defense in the OVC, did they make adjustments? What did they do to kind of shut you down after that?
I think that we didn't play well. They didn't really do anything different. the field position kind of took the first half away from us. In the second half, we didn't get going until we changed quarterbacks, and then we got going a little bit in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the Golden Eagles got some offense going late in the game as we check out the second half highlights brought to you by Miller Lite. Golden Eagles on offense. Darian Stone just overshoots his receiver coach.
And it's a really tough play. This was a nice drive. We've gotten it to their part of the territory. It's still 17-7 at this point. And first of all, Darren's throwing to the wrong guy, and then he overshoots who he's throwing to. So it was just a very poor play by Darren.
And TSU takes advantage. They come back, and German hooks up with A.C. Leonard for a big bomb.
I thought the succession of these two series, we're driving down to get the chance to get it back 17-10, 17-14, throw an interception. They score on this drive after they got the interception, and that's what put it to 24 at that point.
And then things went from bad to worse.
Oh, this was another bad play by Darren here. All he's got to do is pitch this ball. We got an easy first down. He don't pitch the ball, and again, they get the turnover, take it down the field. Poor execution by our defense. Our rover, Corey Weber, that's his guy, and he didn't get over to him, and that's too easy right there to throw it to that big fella.
Yeah, German and A.C. Leonard hooked up a couple of times. Jared Davis comes into the game, fires a strike to Steve Wilson for a touchdown.
Jared came in and took us on two nice drives in the game. He got the whole fourth quarter here and played very well when he came in the game. That's 2 weeks in a row. He's had 4 series, and he's gotten 24 points out of those 4 series. So
TSU fumbles, gets a little life back into the Golden Eagles. You know, Coach, anything can happen.
And we take it right back down the field again and get ourselves within, 13 points, I guess. We're within 2 scores.
Cody Forbes giving Davis a little push. He breaks the plane on the 1-yard touchdown.
New rule in college football that you can push from behind now, and that used to be a penalty.
Yeah.
They never would call it. Now they've just changed it to where it's not. And again, here we've got them 4th down and 6, I think it was, and they throw a bomb for a touchdown. Not well played again by us, so ended up 41-21. The score is not indicative of the way our defense played. Our defense played better than 41 points. But, buddy, we can't give up those big plays like that. I mean, that was tough. The offense did not play well in the game at all. I thought our defense played better than it looked, and our offense did not play well at all.
You know, we'd heard so much about that Tennessee State defense, and I think they were everything they were billed to be, but I was really surprised by their offense because they hadn't thrown a touchdown pass in 3 previous games coming into our game.
German hadn't played.
Yeah.
There's a little difference. Number 12 changes that team completely. They go from an average offensive football team to when 12 got back to eligible to play again. It's a different bunch when he's on the field.
Yeah, you can see it. Well, there was plenty of action around the league as we check out the Ohio Valley Conference scoreboard brought to you by the OVC Digital Network. In overtime, it was Jacksonville State over Georgia State, 32-26. Max Shortle, 263 yards passing. DeMarcus James with 3 touchdown runs. At Busch Stadium, it was Southern Illinois over Southeast Missouri, 36-19. Elsewhere around the league, Ohio blanked Austin Peay 38-0, and it was Murray State losing to Bowling Green 48-7. Eastern Illinois almost pulled off another upset, this time against Northern Illinois, but it was Northern Illinois winning 43-39. Jimmy Garoppolo, 450 yards passing and 6 touchdowns. Eric Laura, 198 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns.
I watched them on tape a little bit today during lunch. I just like to put on.
Did you lose your appetite?
I told the quarterback club today during lunch I didn't eat anything for lunch. He's playing lights out.
Yeah.
I don't. They said, I didn't hear it myself, but they said that Urban Meyer said that he watched them play. They played San Diego State the next week. Said he's the best quarterback in the country right now.
Wow,
that's a pretty strong statement. If Urban said that, but he's playing lights out.
He's playing like the best quarterback in the country right now.
He's a firecracker right now.
And it was Eastern Kentucky over Morehead State, 56-24. J.J. Jude, 195 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. Jared McClain, 250 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. As we take a look at the scoreboard, or the standings rather, it was TSU on top. Of course, that was the only OVC game played on Saturday. Jacksonville State at 4-0. Coach, I'm a little surprised by that.
Well, look at who they played.
Yeah.
I mean, they played Alabama State, Georgia State, Jacksonville, they haven't had to play what some of us are playing with the Wisconsins and TSU. And
Well, you look at Austin Peay, their schedule's been brutal.
Oh, brutal. You can't tell anything yet. Let's get into conference play and let's see what goes down, because somebody said today, well, are we out of it? I mean, I'm telling you,
one loss does not get you out of
this league is going to be really, really interesting. And
because Eastern Illinois has to go to TSU and play.
There's some opponents in this league that can play with those guys, and so can we. So let's just hang on here and keep playing football.
Stick around. We still have our player spotlight inside Golden Eagle football, and where have they landed segments still to come. Stay with us.
Tennessee Tech tickets available at 931-372-3940 or ttusports.com.
Welcome back to the Watson Brown Show. It's time now for our Golden Eagle player profile, brought to you by IWC Cash and Carry. This week we hear from defensive back Bill Dillard.
Bill Dillard, number 7, Birmingham, Alabama, Rover. My major is exercise science. What made me decide to go into exercise science is obviously playing football. I want to be able to go back and give back to kids and be able to coach them. The person that's had the most influence in my career is Mom and Dad. They both stood behind me through thick and thin. When I injured my shoulder, my dad was kind of helping me, motivate me to get back at it and keep rehabbing just so I can get back out on the field. Well, I chose to sit out my senior year just to focus on basketball, and going to home games, watching them play on the football field kind of made me a little sad, and once they lose games, I want to cry and like, dang, I could have been out there trying to help them win. And I don't know, watching them kind of motivated me, and when I saw my 4 other teammates sign here, it kind of gave me motivation to want to come and play football again. So I kind of talked to a couple of my coaches, and they were able to work a deal out with Coach Brown, and he still wanted me. So once he offered me, I said, yeah. I want to work on more so my man coverage, try to get better at that. I know last season I got beat a couple of times, and it kind of depressed me. So I've been working on my footwork, trying to be able to stay with my man and keep him in front of me. And then also my hands too. I dropped a few picks, which I should have had at least 6, and I only had 1. And that kind of upset me a lot, so I'm working on that too. It's prepared me a lot. I learned a lot playing last year, especially not playing my senior year in high school, like I said. Coming back last year, being my first year, I kind of picked back up on old things that I had learned in high school and tried to put them into work here and kind of better myself. The Bill thing started in middle school with my coach named Coach Dennis. He first started calling me Wild Bill because I was wild. I'm always on the floor during basketball. I go to drive to the basket, I end up on the floor. So he just started calling me Wild Bill, and it's stuck since then. But last year, when I got here, Coach Brown called me Bill, and then everybody just started saying Bill. I thought your name was William. I was like, bro, it doesn't even matter. Y'all can call me William or Bill. I'll answer to either one. So I'm Bill Dillard.
Coach, Bill's having a good season.
He's having a good year, and he's going to be a great player here. Just give him time. And he was a really good basketball player. Gave up football his senior year thinking he was going to get the big basketball offers. Got the smaller school offers, and then I knew about him all the way through because that's where Stephen, my son, played high school football. Knew the coaches well and kept up with him as it went. And then we got him late in the signing time. And if he had played football, he may have been a Division I guy.
Yeah, good to have him. Well, one of the highlights of playing at Tennessee Tech is the travel. This week, we're leaving on a jet plane in our Inside Tech football segment, brought to you by Pepsi. Let's take a look.
It's a competitive bid process. We work with our purchasing department here on the Tennessee Tech campus, and we send it to all the charter companies throughout the United States, and they bid on it, and we have certain specifications that they need to meet to be able to fly our football team. Well, Coach Brown and I, we've worked depending on what our financial situation has been in that current budget year, and what the game is afterwards. For this year, we've always tried to fly to the big FBS teams that are paying us a lot of money. We think that's part of the experience of going to play those bowl subdivision teams. And then we did decide to charter to Hampton. We knew that was a night game. We knew we wanted to get back and to be able to have practice on Sunday and be rested, because this was an important week after Hampton leading up to the Tennessee State game. Well, I think it's just important that we support football in that way. It is logistically, it is significantly more challenging with all the manifest and the timing that has to take place. So I think it's important, and I think the first time that we traveled, I think I was one of the only ones here that had some experience with football air charters and took on that role, and I continue to take on that role, and it's just a way that I can support Coach Brown and his staff and Kim Nash and Debbie Parker, who do a lot of the football travel for Coach Brown. I love that. That's good for me, but we really know it's good for our student athletes. We know it's the sooner we get them back home and in their own bed, that's good because it's getting ready for the next week and the next opponent. And coming off from the Wisconsin game, going to Hampton. Hampton was a very important road FCS game for us, and then from Hampton coming back to take on Tennessee State to begin Ohio Valley Conference play and to begin our quest for the York Trophy. It's really, really important. So it's most important that we get our student athletes back in their own bed and get them rested and ready for the week.
And Coach, I know a lot of the Wisconsin personnel and Hampton folks did too, talked about how well Tennessee Tech travels, just how well mannered the players are, and I know that speaks volumes for what kind of program you're trying to put together.
Well, first, it's Mark and I are philosophically very similar in our thoughts, and we want to do things first class for these kids. So when we travel, whether it's on a bus or planes, we try to stay within range the best we can, and we take care of our guys. But then we expect them to feel like they're being taken care of. Now, you represent Tennessee Tech the way you're supposed to, and I'm very proud of them. I think that we've done a very good job of that here at Tennessee Tech.
Yeah, most definitely. The Golden Eagles have had a few players go to the NFL, and one of those players, Wayne Anderson, is in our Where Have They Landed segment, brought to you by FCS Football.
I played football here at Tennessee Tech. I played from 1977 to 1980. I was a place kicker. Pretty much I did. When I landed on campus and saw the field and everything else, and just the whole aura of being in this area of Tennessee, my heartbeat increased, and it was a no-brainer to not say no, and I accepted it and went forward. Well, I was very fortunate to be in the position I was, because a lot of guys, they go to school and they don't get to play right away. So I was very fortunate from that perspective. My freshman year, we went 9-2, and I was voted all conference. My sophomore year, we had a mediocre year, and I ended up being all conference that year too. My junior year, we just fell to pieces, and my senior year, we stepped it up a notch again, and I stayed here all summer and prepared for my senior year, and it was my best year. And I was all conference as well, and the team even voted me most valuable player, and I was Kodak All-American. I got a couple of calls from a couple of teams. Seattle was one of them, and Buffalo and San Francisco, and they weren't sure what they were going to do. And then the Bills called me and said, we'd like to sign you as a free agent. And I said, man, I'd love the opportunity. I'm not going to turn it down. So I went ahead and I took that, and it didn't go well there because I did well in camp there and so forth, and then I got put on waivers and the Chiefs picked me up. So I was very fortunate enough to go and play with the Chiefs. As soon as I got down to Fort Lauderdale, they called me, and I was on the next plane back the next day out to Kansas City, and I was very fortunate to play under Marv Levy there for a brief time that year and the following year. So it wasn't a long period of time. I just felt fortunate enough to have been there, if you know what I mean, because that level of football is second to none. I mean, it's a big business, it's a cutthroat business, but I just felt fortunate enough to have gone through my tenure here and was able to do what I did up there, which it wasn't a lot, but I just felt fortunate enough to have done it. I'm currently relocating back here to Cookeville, Tennessee, from Vero Beach, Florida. I've accepted a job up here, and I'm back to Cookeville, where I started my football and college career here. I will be doing member services and risk management with the Tennessee Municipal League Risk Management Pool in the East Tennessee area. Wayne Anderson, and this is where I've landed.
Coach, it's good to see folks like Wayne Anderson come back and support the program. I'm glad to have him back in Cookeville.
Wayne loves Cookeville, and was just 2 years ago, he said, boy, I'd like to find a job back in this area. I'd love to come back up here, and here he is. So we're proud of Wayne, and he was a very good player here at Tennessee Tech. I'm telling you that.
Well, we got more Watson Brown Show coming up. Coach, we got some Twitter questions for you in just a little bit. Plus, we're going to be talking about Indiana State. Stay with us. The Watson Brown Show continues in just a moment.
Tennessee Tech tickets available at 931-372-3940 or ttusports.com.
Welcome back to the Watson Brown Show, presented by IWC Cash and Carry. Well, if you have a question for Coach Brown, you can tweet it at TTU Golden Eagles. And Coach, of course, we have some questions for you as we move into this segment sponsored by TTUsports.com. First Twitter question of the week, Coach. Compare Indiana State with the last two teams you've played.
Whew, that's hard. I'm not sure I know because they've not played anybody on our level yet, buddy. They've played two FBS opponents, marked like that.
Yeah.
And then they played Quincy and beat them real bad. Now they've had an open date, so they didn't play last week. I can't tell. I know they were good last year. They got a whole bunch of people back. Got a really good quarterback who was the starter a year ago, played really well. The running back got hurt in the Indiana game, hasn't played since, but we think he's coming back for our game. And he was in their championship run, and when they went to the playoffs, he gained 1,600 yards in one season.
Wow.
He's a senior. He was a sophomore that year. So they got some good players, very scrappy on defense. This is a good football team.
Yeah, we'll talk more about them in just a moment. Here's another Twitter question for you. Has Jared Davis earned more playing time at quarterback? We've seen him come in the last 2 weeks against Hampton and against Tennessee State and look pretty good.
I would say that we feel very comfortable playing him.
Yeah.
Darian is still our starting quarterback.
Sure.
But I think now that we could even loosen up a little more to me, buddy, with Darian, and if he were to sprain an ankle, we know we got a guy that can go play. So I think that we're very pleased with Jared. He's been one of the major pleasant surprises in the season as it's gone.
And you know, it really hasn't been that way in a while where you've had a really good number two or one that was ready to come in and play because you've had your starters and then, you know, it would usually drop off a little bit after that.
Even when Lee Sweeney was our quarterback and Trey was the next one, that year Trey had to play for Lee getting hurt some. He was very young and Jared has been the best young one that I've had since I've been here, that when he goes in the game, he doesn't look young. He acts like a very mature guy and has had good poise so far when he's played in both games. And they've not been easy games to play, and it's been two very good defenses with very good pass rushing defenses. So it hasn't been easy to play.
Yeah. Coach, we got a fashion question for you here. You know, Tennessee Tech's been looking good with the different helmets and the different uniforms. One question here, what uniform helmet combination is Tech going to wear this week against the Sycamores?
Whew, that hadn't been decided yet.
Really?
No, we usually do that somewhere around Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
What we do, if you want to know what we're going to wear that week, you come to the office.
I've seen
There's
that,
a display, and we've got the uniform on, a mannequin in there, and I'd like to have that guy play it.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to have. That's
tall.
a good-looking
Yeah,
mannequin.
he's a good-looking guy.
I could use him as a wideout today, I'm telling you. But if you want to see what we're going to wear that Saturday, just come by the office, and you'll get a little peek.
And I'm sure Debbie will be glad to just, take care of them.
Debbie will take care of anybody that walks in the door, even you when you come at the wrong time.
She does. She sure does. Another question here. What happened to Cody Matthews? He didn't play in the second half against TSU.
Got hurt in the second quarter and had a concussion. Caught a knee on a block and got a good one. I would say he is very questionable for the game this week.
Well, we're going to go ahead and start talking about Indiana State. Of course, we do host them on Saturday night at Tucker Stadium, 7 o'clock kickoff. Another Twitter question here about Indiana State. Does Indiana State have an area where they might be more vulnerable, the run or the pass, or I guess it's been kind of hard to tell?
No, I think their offense has been pass first, run second, but pretty good balance. They can do both. Like I say, a good running back, a good quarterback, a couple of wide receivers that are seniors have been playing there for a long time. Again, I don't know how good they are on defense, buddy, because they're playing FBS opponents here.
Yeah, they played Purdue and Indiana.
Now they played very well against Purdue on defense, very well. This was a throwback pass to the running back, and he made a nice play up at Purdue. And this game stayed within 2 touchdowns the whole time. Indiana jumped on them pretty quick. They made a little run back at Indiana. It wasn't all offense. I think they picked off 2 passes for touchdowns in the Indiana game on defense, and that's part of those 35 points they got. But we're going to have to defend space. This is the first true space team we've played. We've been playing power football the last 2 of the 3 games. Hampton was a little bit of a space team, but Wisconsin and TSU were power teams. Now we're going to go back to playing open field game, and we'll see how good we are with that. I was very proud of our defense Saturday night in third down. We held them to 5 of 14 third down conversions, TSU. So that was been a big change for us defensively. The third down has been a problem for us around here the last few years.
Yeah, and it was a great atmosphere. There was a lot of folks that came to the ball game Saturday night, and I'm sure you're looking for that kind of turnout again. It was a beautiful evening. I mean, there was a great crowd, and this is kind of the time of the year when we want to come out and watch Tech football. I mean, this is a great opportunity.
This will be another fantastic game, and we need help. We need the fans just keep coming with these kids and backing them, and you just don't know how much that means to your football team on that night when you got a great crowd there.
Yeah, and to play a team like Indiana State, obviously it's a non-conference boat, but this could help you in the long run. Should you string together some victories, you start looking at the playoffs. This is one where they look and see, kind of measure you when it comes playoff time.
Well, this is why it's the game's scheduled. We always, Mark and I, try to think about playoffs if we don't win the championship, and hopefully in the rest of my time here we'll always be around and have that kind of opportunity, if we can stay healthy and play a little better. And I think our team this year still has that chance. I think next year's team with just a very few seniors will be very strong that way. And Mark and I are always trying to do that. That's why you see an Indiana State on there. That's why you're going to see Chattanooga next year.
Good.
Along with Indiana State. We'll play Chattanooga at home, Indiana State on the road.
Well, that's going to do it this week. For Tennessee Tech head coach Watson Brown, I'm Buddy Pearson. Don't forget, tickets are still available for this Saturday night's game against Indiana State. The KISS 98.5 Tailgate Park opens at 4 o'clock. For head coach Watson Brown, I'm Buddy Pearson. We'll see you next week on the Watson Brown Show.
The Watson Brown Show has been brought to you by IWC Cash and Carry, Wendy's Breakfast in Cookeville, Miller Lite, and Pepsi.
With quality brand name products at affordable wholesale prices, Cash and Carry is the perfect place to shop. Whether shopping for individual, business, churches, or more, Cash and Carry is sure to meet your needs. Cash and Carry of Cookeville, 931-528-8050.